So in the last months or so, I miss my father who died like 10 years ago. And he was a wonderful father to me, with lots of love and appreciation and wondering. I mean, wondering, not questioning, but loving me. and I have the question: is there a way where I can nourish this missing part, this part that is missing, and also this, like, is there an embodiment way, is my question actually, where I can do something to give myself this appreciation and this love and this warmth that I used to get from him, that is kind of still surrounding me, actually. And I don't want to feel like it has to come from the outside, because my experience with stuff that I learned from you is that there's a lot possible that I can give myself. So this is my question: what, with my body, what can I do? I have an idea.
Yeah, thank you. So many interesting layers, and I think I will just maybe pick up two of those layers that attract me in order to make it not too complex. So first of all, let's go from this practical layer. What can I do with my body? So when we have this, I could say healthy or maybe perfect quality of a father in our life, and it doesn't have to be a father, it doesn't have to be a man, but if we have this quality, it's almost like and it's a weird terminology, but I mean it that way, it's almost like an aspect of spiritual initiation. It's an aspect of deep trust and orientation, and it enables you to navigate through life with an inner sense of sovereignty, and you persevere on your way. It's like you are not easily distracted, you are not superficial, you are initiated into something essential that life is about, and you feel guided and you feel held, and at the same time you have an inner embodied self-confidence of my feet know my own way. So it's a very, very complex and profound background vibe for a whole biography if a father like that is fully present in a childhood. And for most people, it isn't that sunny during childhood. And I think with you and your father, it's pretty close. It's a pretty close you have a biography being pretty close to this ideal of there are elements and aspects where your father truly nourished you with unconditional love and expressed that and was present, etc. So how can you keep nourishing yourself with that, or reassuring your body that this is not gone just because his physical body is gone in the way you used to know him? And it's a lot about your bones, it's a lot about your legs, and it's a lot about your feet. And I'm almost certain that you have to touch them with your feet, with your hands, in order to let them believe that deeply enough, in order to allow them to drink that deeply enough. And what you could even do is rubbing your hands then on your chest / your heart, thinking about him, like connecting to this very special bonding and love and vibe between the two of you, and then bringing this vibe of your heart to your feet and massaging them with exactly this vibe. So it's a lot about almost like going, not almost, like concretely going deeper than the layer of human love, because it's not so personal. Spiritual initiations are like the death to anything personal. So to some extent, it's not about you and daddy, but it is about what is this bonding about as a sacred, timeless, wise bonding principle. And that is what he got introduced into by having this relationship with each other. So it's almost like making him die a second time by drawing it that deeply into yourselves. But at the same time, you have to do that now because he's gone. So you have no choice. You would love to keep him alive, but you can't. So sorry. So this is really about your bones. It's about your feet, it's about your legs, it's about the sense, the summary of sensations with which you go forward, walk forward in your life, almost like or going for a walk and doing that with this amount of precision and attention and interest and curiosity, and how do the bones in my legs feel, all of that. So really your heart energy, and then the soles of your feet, the most concrete gross matter, I could say.
Most concrete what? Sorry, the most
concrete, the gross matter. Gross is a very not subtle. It's the opposite of subtle. That's what I'm saying. So I do not know if gross is the best word for that, but substantial. It's the most substantial matter. And then there is another beautiful way how you could approach that, or maybe you can do that as well. I think there's a little bit of also conditioning in the background, not especially in your case, but I think inescapably in our culture when somebody is dying is, oh, we miss somebody, and there is something like, so there is a lack, so there is something, and it would be better if we would fill the gap. And it's like, from an embodied perspective, it doesn't make sense. From an embodied perspective, it's like, no, it's just this frequency that needs to be digested, but fullness needs to be digested as well, or hard work needs to be digested as well, or lemon ice needs to be digested as well. It's like, there is something like, this is just life flowing through you. And in other situations, you scream like, oh my God, orgasm, everything is perfect. And from an embodiment perspective, it doesn't make sense. It's just life flowing through you as a divine orgasm, period. That's it. So there is just loss. There is just grief. There is just, you miss him. And allow the fullness of this experience. It's not, there is not more or less a lack in anything than in any other experience if you allow the outer world to nourish your inner world. And this is what it can do from every possible corner, from every possible angle, with every possible experience. And that's, again, that's the thing with embodiment. And that is why it's a question if we learn more about embodiment when we have a happy-go-lucky life, or if we learn more about embodiment when we are suffering. Because when we are suffering, we step into the game with more bravery and with more courage and with more precision and power, because we have to, because everybody else would associate. So, and then I think that's the last thing that I want to mention around this second stream of how I could respond to your question. There is not only a principle richness or fullness or completeness in this experience, but also a real richness, a rich richness. I could say there is an answer, there is the solution, there is the alchemy, the transformation, the transmutation in the very center of the problem. So I could send you on the track of lay on your bed and miss him as much as you can and breathe that into your heart and exhale the longing for him and breathing it into your heart and exhaling again and keep going with that, coming from two different perspectives onto this practice, because one is this in itself is a full experience, and the other perspective is, and I know the moment that this is allowed to be it, period, nothing more, it will transform. And that's the beautiful mystical principle of trauma. The trauma is the solution. The loss is finding somebody. I think that's the most beautiful thing, because that's eventually what we ever wanted, but it comes when it has stopped being anything more for us than a cherry on top. So it's like it kills you up to the point of complete detachment. But after that, it's like life is like, hey baby, I'm there. And it's like, okay, I went to liberation for you. But yeah, it's like that. It's incredibly playful and graceful, and loves to play and loves to be a gift. And I think it really loves or wants or makes sure that it is received as a gift. And as long as we are in this loop, forgive me that I say loop, but in this grief or any cultural pattern around grief or loss, life is like, it doesn't feel invited to play with us, because it's like if I give you the sweetness of your experience right now, you would grab it with both hands as if you are righteous or entitled to get it from me, as if I would owe you something. That's not so much fun. Let's wait a little bit. And then you start to work and transmute internally. And then I think everything falls into place.
Thank you. So many layers. Thank you for touching them very deep. One deeper than the other. Thank you.
That's life. Wow. Yay, thank you so much for being into full aliveness, no matter what. This truly means a lot to me. I have dedicated my whole work for over a decade to this topic. How do we become fully alive? And I have put everything that I found together in the so-called online pool, and you will find the link in the description below, and you are super welcome to check it out.